What's going on, everybody? We're going to turn off that music. Hopefully everything is good now. Welcome to the Ango Show. We're live for WWE NXT. It is February 7th, 2023. A very interesting episode of WWE NXT. Pretty exciting stuff actually happened tonight. I felt like there was a less cringy and more serious stuff, which is obviously what I've been looking for. Tonight's live stream probably won't be too long, just because MLW Underground is on. I got to get to watching that. And then there's a couple more things that I need to do content-wise. But nonetheless, I'm going to be talking about WWE NXT. I'll be taking a look at your guys' comments on the show and be pulling them up on the screen. So if you guys want to get your super chats and all that good stuff, definitely feel free to do so. Now, the chat commands are there as well. Let's change it up a little bit. Let's see. Minimal, maybe? Black? I don't know. We could change up some of the colors. Let's do green. Yeah, let's do green. Green looks cool. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like this. Okay, nonetheless, we are live. Hopefully, you guys are all having a good day. Don't exactly know what WWE's plans are for NXT. Sometimes I feel like they're kind of geared towards wrestling, and then sometimes it feels more geared towards entertainment. So it is very, very interesting as I watch the show. But honestly, this was a big improvement over last week's episode. Obviously, some big highlights tonight on WWE NXT is the fact that Toxic Attraction broke up. That's how they ended the show. And they ended up doing that with Bayley in the main event segment of the show, which I actually thought was a relatively smart idea. Got a lot to talk about with JC Jane, Gigi Dolan, and what to expect from that whole thing. So, yeah, some good things came out of NXT tonight. Definitely intrigued to see where things are headed. Obviously, Braun Breaker is not on the show tonight. He returns next week. Obviously, Stand and Deliver pretty much looks like Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker. Probably a new era of NXT at that point. I think Carmelo will definitely be a champion. And it makes a lot of sense. He's a hell of a talent. And, one thing that I kind of noticed week by week, how much people are improving in NXT. There's a lot of talent that stand out in NXT. A lot of people you might not be familiar with, might be a lot of people that, maybe didn't have a huge background in the world of pro wrestling, but at the end of the day, they're in the performance center, they're on NXT, and they are improving, which makes NXT in its own a very fun product to watch. Sometimes I think the way that we kind of judge WWE and AEW, I feel like NXT kind of gets grouped in with that. And that's kind of unfortunate because truly developmental brand, but yet there are some people who are really kicking ass in NXT. And I do like that about NXT. I like the fact that I'm seeing a lot of people improve on a daily basis or a regular basis, weekly basis. But nonetheless, we got tons of comments. Jacoby Peter says, Ango is smart. Jacoby, you are smart. Thank you. Trapstar Brian says, I can see Gigi Dolan versus JC Jane at Stand and Deliver. My friend, we got to talk about this. I think it's got to happen. I think WWE is in a situation where they got to push JC Jane to the moon. She absolutely nailed it. That main event segment was really good, in my opinion. And I felt like WWE is just doing a great job with Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. Yeah, Toxic Attraction is done. They are over. They're not together anymore. They have officially split up. And you know what? Part of me kind of gets a little upset because I feel like WWE needs more women tag teams. But also, I do see a lot more potential in JC Jane and Gigi Dolan as single stars. I think both of them could be really successful in WWE's main roster for years to come as single stars. So that is something that is exciting to me. I definitely feel like, it could be upsetting to see them break up, but I do think there is a lot of potential with those women in the future of WWE. And honestly, that does excite me. I think that JC Jane, by the way, and this is not to be like an offensive or insulting thing, but I've always kind of viewed JC Jane as the weaker link in Toxic Attraction. I always thought she was good, but out of the three, I always thought, Mandy Rose and Gigi Dolan were the ones who really stood out. And actually, I feel like JC Jane she's up there, man. She's going to be a really good star for WWE. Tonight's segment definitely proved that. And that's why I guess I'm not too mad that Toxic Attraction is breaking up. Honestly, I really feel like there's some serious potential there. I'm shocked that WWE went that route. But I thought it was a cool way of having the segment play out, especially on the Ding Dong Hello segment with Bayley. I just thought that was a really good thing. And here's the thing. WWE is they're doing things that some people just don't expect, and I do appreciate that from WWE. Michael says Stacks is impressing. Wow, yeah, I mean, really, really phenomenal stuff that we're seeing from Stacks. I know we talk a lot about Tony D'Angelo as being a standout in NXT. Stacks, he had a match against Odyssey Jones tonight, and honestly, he looked great. He definitely looked like he knows what he's doing. He's definitely getting acclimated. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, I did tweet this out earlier. I said, I'll read the exact tweet. I said, look at the development in the Performance Center. Stacks and Odyssey, fire emoji. And I do believe that, man. I believe that. I think WWE is in a situation right now where you can see the development from people in NXT. And I think that's why I love NXT right now. Even sometimes, I criticize. Last week, I criticized it pretty hardcore. But at the core of it, we are seeing people truly develop and get better. And who knows what the future looks like for them, right? JC Jane, Stacks, Odyssey Jones, Chase University, right? Thea Hale. She's only like 18 or 19 years old. Now they got her roped in with Joe Gacy and Ava Rain and Schism. There's a lot of things that they're doing that's kind of impressing me because these people may not have the most experience yet. For some reason, they're really, really improving. But Stacks for sure is definitely on that list. I mean, I'm super excited to see what happens. Next week, it looks like Wesley's doing an open challenge, probably going to be answered by Tony D'Angelo. I actually hope that's not the case. I hope it's going to be Stacks versus Wesley. Give them an opportunity to do a nice big match. And then if you're going to have Tony D'Angelo versus Wesley, I think that could be the match you make at Stand and Deliver. But if I'm WWE, I think WWE needs to have NXT do a multi-man ladder match for Stand and Deliver. That would be something ideally that I would like to see. But that's just my opinion. Rapper says, what's up? Hey, what's up, Rapper? Thanks for stopping by. Lucas Thomas says, hey, Ango, how do you feel about WWE signing Jason Cade, a new guy part of creative with Tyson Kidd? Is that a good thing? Lucas, I made a video on Jason Cade's signing with WWE. Go ahead and check out the video. It's on my channel. It's the most recent upload. I deliver all my positive thoughts there. Rick Corrales, what's up, Rick? He says, waiting for MLW to start, never watched before. Yeah, so it already started about 18 or 19 minutes ago. I would really appreciate it if you guys did not spoil the MLW Underground for me. I have it recording on DVR. And again, like I said, the live stream today is going to be a little bit shorter because I do have to get some more content uploaded. If you guys didn't know, I'm doing TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I'm doing all of these different things. And, it's really important that I get more work done. So that's why I'm not going to be doing an hour and a half live stream just for tonight's show. I think NXT we could do a little bit shorter sometimes. But I definitely want to watch MLW Underground. That's why I have it on record. So make sure you guys don't spoil it for me, please. I'd greatly appreciate that. It should be a pretty decent show. And we'll see kind of what they do there. I'm kind of excited. MLW has been doing good stuff, but now they have this new initiative with MLW Underground on Reels. It's a pretty solid TV deal. So for me, I'm pretty excited about that. Michael says Odyssey looks really good too. He is like a Keith Lee, but with an actual face gimmick. I mean, I think both of them are different, and both of them are talented in their own ways. Odyssey Jones and Keith Lee, I've seen people talk about similarities and stuff like that, but I just think both guys are talented in their own respective ways. But Odyssey is somebody who I think could have a really big ceiling. It depends how WWE books him and how they plan to elevate him. But I mean, look at what he's done. He's not even in these big programs yet. They kind of bringing him in at any point in time. If they're ready to push him, I feel like he could stand out in NXT, which this is a cool thing, right? There's a lot of people in NXT who could get called up to the main roster. And I don't think it hurts the WWE NXT roster by any means. So the good news with that is people could definitely get called up and NXT will still have a nice roster in play. I do like that a lot. Baby Zap says Toxic Attraction really finna break up. They're not bringing Mandy back. Well, it sounds like they could be bringing Mandy back. But just keep in mind, before Mandy Rose was released, there was some talk that Mandy Rose was not going to be part of Toxic Attraction. They've actually reportedly had planned to break up Toxic Attraction a while ago. Because WWE, specifically higher-ups in the company, believe that JC Jane and Gigi Dolan and Mandy Rose were all potentially good single stars. It is a little bit of a scratcher, right? To be honest, I feel like and this is just my opinion, but I feel like WWE messes up a little bit, right? Toxic Attraction is potentially a really good tag team that could be on the main roster competing for women's tag team championship belts. They're a true tag team, right? And it would have been nice to see them on the main roster competing for those belts and building serious feuds. That's where WWE messes up. But also at the same time, on the contrary, they are so talented. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane could be a feud, a singles match for Stand and Deliver without the need of a championship match, which I like that NXT does that. And I think in a situation like that too, WWE has potentially big single stars out of them. So if you're the WWE, I don't think you necessarily, you can't go wrong, right? If they go to the main roster as a tag team, there's nothing wrong in that. If they go as single stars, there's nothing wrong in that. Either way, they're going to be successful, in my opinion. So I am interested to see what they do with Toxic Attraction. And I think JC Jane, honestly, she really stood out tonight. She looked like she was miles ahead than she's ever been before. And Gigi Dolan, if you guys watch my live streams, you guys know I really like her and I think she's really good. But JC Jane today really stood out. And with JC Jane and Gigi Dolan breaking up, I just think the sky's the limit. Again, they could have been on the main roster. They could have been on the main roster as tag team champions competing for a feud. And that's something that WWE needs. They need real tag teams in the women's division. But after tonight, I feel like JC Jane and Gigi Dolan really stand out as single stars. The future looks bright for them. Honestly, I really do think so. Michael says, good evening, Ango. Michael, good evening. Kornicki Lanier, hopefully I pronounced that right. Ango, how do you feel about Tatum join with Isla and leave? Unfortunately, there's a lot of spelling errors in this, so I'm just trying to, blink a million times and read this. But anyways, I get your question. Do you think Schism is going to recruit Thea Hale? No, but I think there's a storyline there that makes me intrigued. I like when WWE does kidnapping storylines. I don't know why. They're overplayed out, and I understand a lot of people hate them, and I get it 100%. But I like when WWE does that. It's always nice to see what comes out of it, whether it's good or bad. Bobby Jones says, Ango, did you see a clip where Robert told Von Wagner, let me help you get better, so you think he could get repackaged and put on a mask now or pair with a tag team? I don't know what they're going to do with Von Wagner. I hopefully something, man, because Wagner is not, there's something about him that has a lot of potential, but there's something not connecting for me, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. Jacoby says JC is good on the mic, though. She is. No, she's good on the mic. She's good in the ring. I just, I think for so long I've seen them as a tag team that it was really difficult to get used to them as single stars. But the more and more that I see them, I think there's definitely a lot of potential there. Negla K, what's up, brother? Hey, everyone, and Ango, hello, everybody. Shout out to Negla K. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Baby Zap says, could you see Hikuleo in WWE NXT? Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very big possibility. There's rumors that WWE's been reportedly interested in Hikuleo. And, if WWE, this is just the reality, but if WWE signs Hikuleo, I think it's a good move. WWE bringing in Carl Fredericks was a good move. WWE bringing in Dragon Lee is a good move. We're starting to see Tyler Bate and Grayson Waller potentially have a storyline. There's a lot of good wrestlers in NXT. So I think this is going to be a really good thing for WWE. Just really curious to see how it all unfolds, really. What's up, Leo? Thanks for stopping by, brother. Carlos says Gigi Dolan is over. I agree. Yeah, I mean, she is. And the best part is Gigi Dolan is over. JC Jane's going to get over. There might be some more benefits to Toxic Attraction being broken up, honestly. I could see that very well being the case. And I'm excited about it. You know what I mean? I'm excited to see how WWE is going to do this, whether it's good or bad. I don't know. I don't want to be too optimistic, but I just think both of these ladies have a lot of potential. And it might have not been the route that I was initially hoping for or maybe want to see. It wasn't something I was necessarily begging for. But I think if you're the WWE and you're doing something like this, you're going to split them up. Clearly, you see the potential in both of them as singles talent. And that's a good thing, man. Stand and deliver, having a women's match that doesn't involve championship belts. It's really interesting. Neglicate says, I feel like Wagner doesn't connect with the audience. Yeah, there's something about him. I don't know. Maybe he just lacks the charisma. I'm not sure. I feel like as a big man, he moves pretty well. He wrestles pretty well. There's something there that's missing. I'm not sure exactly what it is that's missing, but I think it probably has more to do with the charisma portion. But I feel like that is something within time that can happen. You don't have to rush. See, the thing is, I don't know why wrestling fans do this, but wrestling fans have to stop doing this. You don't have to rush your talent to the main roster. You don't have to rush your talent to a championship belt. I mean, unless the crowd reaction is absolutely there, then maybe you have to. But for the most part, you can play a waiting game. There's no need to rush Von Wagner. You could give him time. And I feel like at some point there's going to be something that does get him over, because I feel like he's kind of a natural at this, but there is something that is disconnecting, something that isn't working. And perhaps at that point, that's when we'll find out. Jake Wilson says, Ango, how do you feel about Maiko Satomura coming over to NXT? Maybe she's just going to stay just like Gunther is doing now. You know, this is a really interesting thing because Maiko Satomura was having some issues with visas, and Shawn Michaels kind of spoke about it publicly, saying, hey, like, we want them in WWE. Obviously, the visa issues are a concern. Maiko Satomura is incredible. I think she's so awesome. Last time we saw her when she was in that triple threat match with Mandy Rose, I mean, that was beautiful, you know, and I feel like WWE's in a situation right now where if they can keep her permanently, there's so many beautiful things you can do with her. She's such an incredible talent. She's truly legendary. The fact is, next week, she's been announced for a return, which is a very big return. Maiko Satomura and Roxanne Perez versus the women, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, former women tag team champions. So I'm excited about that. I'm very glad that we'll see her in NXT. I'm very glad to see that WWE is doing something here. And hopefully we can see her on television more. Keep in mind, she's a veteran. You got to keep that in mind. She is a veteran, a true legend, a true veteran. I don't expect her to get pushed over everybody else, but I do like the fact that we'll see her on TV. And sometimes that's enough for me, at least. I think that's enough for me. Carlos says the question is, who from NXT is going to the main roster after Mania? This is a really good question, and I would love to answer this right now. But I can't answer this right now. We need to look at Stand and Deliver first. After Stand and Deliver, it'll be a lot easier to answer that question. Big MGM says, hot take, I feel like Grayson Waller is more ready for the main roster than Braun Breaker. I feel Waller knows who he is, where Braun's personality still needs work. Honestly, I disagree. I think both guys are very, very, very talented. Both guys are very talented in different ways. Both guys are going to be successful on the main roster for different reasons. I don't think you have to rush this whatsoever. There is no reason why we should be rushing these call-ups at this moment in time. Both of them are going to be stars in WWE's main roster when the timing is right. You don't have to rush it. They're both very, very talented, though. I mean, if you want to put Grayson Waller on the main roster right now, you can, but it just doesn't make sense to move any of these guys to the main roster just yet. You got to give it time. Grayson Waller is a stud. I love what they're doing. And now it looks like they're going to do something with him and Tyler Bate, which honestly, I don't think people understand how good that could potentially be. So I'm by the way, just the fact that some of these NXT UK talent are in WWE NXT right now, they're kicking ass. I love it. Super excited about that. Ango, where's Dragon Lee? So good news. The bad news was Dragon Lee had some visa issues, and WWE was working around that. It looks like Dragon Lee's visa issues may have been fixed or corrected. So it just takes a little bit of time for him to move to Orlando and get to Orlando and then get on TV. I would say expect Dragon Lee very, very soon. I would also say expect Carl Fredericks on TV very, very soon. Trust me when I tell you guys, Dragon Lee on NXT, there's massive plans for him. WWE is going to treat him as a very big deal, and I won't say much more than that. But don't worry, he's coming very, very soon. The question is, should we move up Grayson Waller now to the main roster? No, you don't have to. You don't have to move him up to the main roster yet. You definitely don't have to move him to the main roster just yet. Definitely take some time before you do. He's great. It's not that he just doesn't need to be in the main roster right now. Right now, the main roster has got a lot of stuff going on. NXT is a developing brand. It's a growing brand. It's increasing in viewership. They're selling arenas now. Don't rush it. There is no need to rush this whatsoever. Grayson Waller is incredible. He's going to be a big star. Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, Braun Breaker. The list goes on. They have some really talented people. You don't need to get them away from NXT just yet. This is where WWE NXT, being a developmental brand, still, in my opinion, is like a third brand. Yes, call-ups matter. You don't got to rush it. You don't have to rush it. And I promise you guys, you will realize how right I am when they do eventually get called up and become successful on the main roster. There's no such thing as rushing it right now. They don't need to do it. It doesn't benefit WWE by rushing call-ups just for the sake of calling up people. Curtis Lee says, I think Braun retires with the NXT championship. I don't agree. I think Braun Breaker is going to lose the NXT championship at Stand and Deliver against Carmelo Hayes. I think Stand and Deliver is going to be all about Carmelo Hayes, and that would be the right choice. Where is Joe Coffey? Great question. I don't know the answer to this, honestly. He'll probably be back soon. Honestly, Gallus right now is so incredible as is, but Mark Coffey and, Mark and Joe Coffey being brothers, but I'm pretty sure they're brothers. I feel like that's, I don't know why I'm not remembering or not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're freaking brothers. But they're both really talented. And then, the thing is with Gallus, obviously Joe Coffey is kind of like the third man. We'll see what they do there. I'm not too sure exactly. Michael says Braun Breaker is a future main roster wrestler down the road. Oh, of course. Yeah. So here's the thing, though. We got some pretty big returns. Obviously, tonight we had Ilya Dragunov return to WWE NXT as well. So again, more NXT UK talent being in NXT. I like that. I like seeing Ilya Dragunov. I like seeing Tyler Bate. I like seeing Gallus. I like seeing Pretty Deadly. I like seeing Lyra, Valkyria. They have a lot of talent, man. There is a lot of talent in WWE right now. And I just love to see that NXT has. The future looks bright, dude. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this loud and proud. It's all about developing the future of your company, and I think this is the one thing Impact and AEW fall short on. They don't have a developmental center. But look at New Japan. New Japan has just opened up NJPW Academy. They're going to be training wrestlers, beginners and advanced wrestlers. WWE has the Performance Center. WWE and New Japan understand that the future of wrestling is bright when you're training and developing people. Look at Dustin Rhodes. He has a training school. Look at Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall. They have a training school. You got to develop talent and create a way for them to get to TV, whether it's WWE or AEW or Impact or whatever it may be. WWE's Performance Center is really beneficial to the company. It would be a very, very big mistake if they ever shut down NXT or if they ever shut down the Performance Center. I truly do believe that. Great question from Zachary. And where is Roderick Strong? This is definitely the big question mark. There's been a lot of questions about Roderick Strong. I don't want to put out any false information. From what I read online, there was some stuff about Roddy Strong being injured. Also, on the flip side to that, though, you got to remember, you kind of have to use common sense here. At one point in time, Roderick Strong requested his release from WWE several times. Right? I'm going to be real with you guys. Is he injured or are they not using him? Is there something we don't know about? I don't know. I don't have the answer to this. I like Roddy Strong. I feel like now that Triple H is in charge, Roddy Strong could do a lot of good things in NXT. You can build a new faction if you want. You can do a lot of things. Or does Roddy Strong just want to go to AEW? I don't want to speculate on Roddy Strong's future. I don't think it's fair to do that. But I think hopefully whatever issues he had with WWE in the past, obviously that was a different regime. Obviously things changed since then. I would like Roddy Strong and WWE to work together. It would be nice to see them together. But who knows? I do prefer to see him on television. But yeah, there was rumors that he was hurt, and I don't know how accurate that is either. So really hard to say. But if Roddy Strong and WWE really get along and they got a lot of big plans, I mean, he could do well with WWE. And WWE is bringing a lot of talent. I would love to see Roddy Strong versus Ilya Dragunov, I like to see Roddy Strong face off against a lot of guys in WWE. There's a lot of potential there. And you can't forget about the Creed brothers and Roddy Strong. There is a little bit of a story there before Roddy Strong was written off television. So that is something definitely to pay attention to. Any news on Scripps? I don't know if there's any news on him, but my opinion still hasn't changed. I like Reggie, man. Reggie's cool. He's talented, but I still don't like the mask. I still don't like this character. I still don't like the packaging here. I don't think I really have high hopes for Scripps. Under a different gimmick, maybe, but nah. To me, I think that ship has definitely, that ship ain't leaving the dock, my friends. Adam says, you said last night about Cody should lose at WrestleMania and all that. Well, I'm sorry, I disagree. Cool. No problem. Zachary says Cameron Grimes should have debuted at the Royal Rumble then. If they aren't going to use him on NXT, move him up. So he moves to... So this is the problem, right, Zach? Like, this is my thing, right? You have Cameron Grimes go to the main roster. He debuts in the Royal Rumble. At the same time, you're trying to build up Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano, Karrion Kross. You got some stuff going with Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler, Maximum Male Models. I mean, there's so many things already happening. Why would you call up Cameron Grimes to literally do nothing that stands out at a time where there's so many other new people and returns that need time to develop and get over? You can't just put a whole bunch of people on TV, in my opinion, and see what works, see what doesn't work. You got to build stories and continuity and consistently every single week. So the problem here is that WWE just calling up Cameron Grimes for the hell of it doesn't really make sense. I have nothing against Cameron Grimes going to the main roster. He was rumored to go to the main roster. They didn't do that just yet. That's not a big deal, in my opinion. But also at the same time, too, I'm okay with being patient. I don't think you waste a Rumble spot for somebody who's going to do absolutely nothing. You would just literally be doing it for no reason. Who do you think Wesley's opponent will be at Stand and Deliver? I think it's going to be Tony D'Angelo. I think he's going to finally win gold, which I'm okay with that. I think Wesley is great. Very intrigued to see what they do with Wesley. I love that little video diary that they uploaded on NXT tonight. They put it on TV. There's some rumors that Nash Carter could be coming back to WWE and MSK could be reunited. Again, those are just rumors. Don't know exactly what's going to happen there, and I don't want to speculate too much on that, but that could be very interesting as well. Zachary, bingo, my friend. You just killed it right here with this comment. I agree with you. If that is the case, we can move underutilized talent on the main roster to NXT and grow the brand. I mean, look how cool Indus Sher is with Jinder Mahal. I mean, they look even more threatening. It was a good repackage for Sangha and Veer. Veer came back from the main roster to NXT. You're building up the tag team division. The tag team division in NXT, by the way, is super sick. But then you have Jinder Mahal involved with that. I mean, there's just a lot of great potential there. I'm super excited about that. And you know what? There is talent. You know, we saw Dolph Ziggler come to NXT for a little bit to help out about a year ago. There's a lot of people who could benefit from that. And that's why I'm not really too worried about guys getting called up and being rushed for no reason. NXT has been really, really good. So it's definitely improving a lot. Look at this angle. We got Dabba-Kato name back finally. Yeah, it's way better than Commander Aziz. I think maybe Triple H looked at that and was like, what the hell are we thinking? You know? And I wasn't even against Commander Aziz, but that's just, I mean, the reality is like, you know, Dabba-Kato, Apollo Crews, there could be something there, you know? I think that's probably a match that we get relatively soon as well. But I like the fact that in NXT, there's always, whether you like it or not, in NXT, there's always storylines that don't involve championship belts, which I think is important. I do like to see an emphasis on that. Am I the only one who wants Madcap Moss to head to NXT and go back to being Riddick Moss and build him back up? Ray, this is a good question. I think WWE has something really special with Madcap Moss. I wouldn't be opposed to him going back to NXT, but he's also done some cool stuff on the main roster just within time. There's a lot of things happening. Again, just because somebody doesn't have a championship belt doesn't mean they're wasted talent. I think we should Roman Reigns coming back to NXT for a special appearance would be massive. I don't know if they'll do that though. But yeah, I mean, it was a solid episode of NXT, man. You know, you got some returns. You had Ilya Dragunov. You have Maiko Satomura coming back next week. WWE is building stories. Stand and Deliver WrestleMania week is going to be pretty freaking massive. It's going to be pretty exciting. I'm super excited about it. You have a lot of women's talent in NXT. You got a lot of tag team talent in NXT. There's a lot of things happening. And I'm just curious to see where WWE goes with it. Honestly, I don't know where they're going to go with it all. But I'm happy that NXT seems to be back on track. Continuity, storytelling, you know, it's working. And I dig it, man. I dig it. I think WWE's on the right track with it. And, you know, next week will be definitely interesting to see how they follow up with this week. I try not to get lost in the ratings talk or whatever, but Stand and Deliver is the next pay-per-view. It's the next takeover. It's the next PLE or whatever. And I thought Vengeance Day was great. I thought NXT tonight was great. I like that they're doing backstage stuff. I like the in-ring wrestling being good. I'm excited. I'm excited for NXT for sure. We're going to cut this show short tonight. Obviously, MLW Underground. I got to get back to watching that. I have it recorded on DVR. Got to get some content up on TikTok and Instagram. So if you guys aren't following me there on TikTok or Instagram, I'm on there at Ango Clips. And other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say about NXT. Good stuff. Toxic Attraction breaking up is great. A lot of question marks, a lot of things I want answers to, but within time, hopefully we get them. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you next time.